right, ladies and gentlemen, on the menu today is a weapon that, in all honesty, I thought that I had already made a video on. Like, I tried to hit all like the super good weapons like right off the bat going into Witch Queen, but apparently not. That weapon being submission, not submissive and breedable like some people have been calling it. Now, along with submission, there has only really been one other weapon that has consistently been on light.gg's hot item / trending page pretty much every day since it came out, and that other weapon is funnel web. So that should kind of tell you how strong submission is. Like, I'm not joking when I say it's one of the best primaries in the game if you can get your hands on the god roll. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at submission and the best perks / god roll to be on the lookout for / crafting. But before we get started, if you're new and only if you enjoy my videos or find them useful, then feel free to subscribe. I'd appreciate it. I don't really have anything to plug, so let's get into it. So first up, submission is a 900 RPM lightweight frame kinetic SMG, stats on screen. Now this weapon is acquired via the new raid, Vow of the Disciple. I believe it drops from the first 3 encounters, but I'll have the full loot table on screen now. Submission is craftable, however, so instead of hoping for the god roll to drop, you're actually hoping for red borders to drop. And hoping you must do, as it requires 5 red borders to unlock its pattern. Now, if you're watching this when Master Vow of the Disciple is out, as far as we know, the adept weapons are not craftable, but they will or like have a chance to drop with enhanced perks already on them. So yay, more RNG. Jokes aside, it's not too bad unlocking its pattern, as you have 3 chances from, your encounters plus secret chest once per week per character, though you'll need to actually have the weapon drop from an encounter for it to start dropping from secret chests, so just a heads up. And of course, you also have your selectable guaranteed red border at the end of the raid once per week per account. All right, so with what it is and how to get it out of the way, let's get into the perks. Now, because this is a raid weapon, it does come with the origin perk Soul Drinker, which looks good on paper because it grants health based on the amount of enemies shot before reloading, but with this weapon's god rolls, like the multiple good perks, especially your column 3 perks, you probably won't be reloading that much. But yeah, nonetheless, it's a great origin perk when you actually do use it. So first up, column 1, where you'll find your standard assortment of barrel perks. Now, when it comes to this column and the fact that this is a 900 RPM SMG, it entirely depends on your input device. For all my controller players out there, you're gonna want stability, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Then for M&K, range. But even on M&K, this thing has some kick to it. So I recommend perks like small bore to help with stability, and full bore, though I would also recommend hammer forged if you don't want the stability penalty that full bore has for range. Now, there are other options, and these are just my personal picks. If it has whatever stat you need, great, use it. Next up is column 2, where I would normally say it's the same as column 1 in that you want something to help with whatever stat you're trying to get, i.e. range or stability. But because of probably the best perk in column 3, instead I highly recommend a mag perk to increase your mag size. My number 1 pick is going to be a appended mag for a mag jump from 36 to 40 with no penalties. Extended mag does go even further to 41, but 1 extra bullets, or 2 once we factor in that column 3 perk, just isn't worth the reload speed penalty, in my opinion, when you actually do reload. I'm not saying it's bad, as I think extended is the second best perk for this column, but because submission can be crafted, you can always get the best perk. Okay, boring columns out of the way. For column 3, you have 7 perks to choose from: Overflow, Turnabout, Subsistence, Steady Hands, Sleight of Hand, Perpetual Motion, and Encore. Now, we do have really good perks in this column, such as Perpetual Motion for a boost to stability, handling, and reload speed as long as you keep moving, Subsistence to get ammo right back into your mag by just getting kills, but, and you already know what I'm about to say, all right? You all know me. We have Overflow. Probably one of my top 3 perks in the entire game. Overflow with appended in column 2 is going to 2x your mag from 40 to 80 rounds. Then if you get the enhanced version of Overflow, which you should, it's going to increase that 2x to 2.5x, aka 100 rounds in a mag. And all you got to do is run over a special or heavy brick. 100 bullets. I really don't think I need to say anymore. Yes, the other perks I mentioned are good, like subsistence for lower level general play, but overflow, in my opinion, is the best. And finally, we have column 4, where just like column 3, you have 7 options: Frenzy, Killing Wind, Thresh, Bait and Switch, Demolitionist, Swashbuckler, and Harmony. Now, while column 4 does have good perks such as Demo for grenade builds or Swashbuckler for melee builds, your best all-around option is going to be Frenzy. Now, you all know that I'm not a massive fan of Frenzy, but when it is the best perk for a column, I'm not gonna not recommend it just because I don't like it. Yes, I wish that there was, you know, maybe a one for all or even a rampage, but we got what we got. 15% damage increase after being in combat for 5 seconds, and it stays active till you leave combat. It's not that I don't like it, I just think that 15% is a little low, considering that that's like the first tier of golden tricorn, and then it goes up to 50%. So I'm just saying 15%, like that's a little on the low side. I wish we could bump Frenzy up, or maybe just have another damage perk in this column, but nonetheless, you got Frenzy. Now, I understand that currently there's a quote-unquote problem, I guess you could say, when it comes to primary weapons, and that's that, well, if they aren't void, then they're suboptimal and it's not worth even getting. And while on one hand I do agree with that, because void weapons equal volatile rounds, and volatile rounds are stupid strong, like best in the game strong, I still think having strong weapons in other slots is really good, because, well, what if you can't use your void slot on your primary, like you're using, I don't know, something like Forbearance or whatever it might be. Submission, in my opinion, is the king when it comes to kinetic SMGs. It might even be the best kinetic ad clear weapon in the game. It's a 900, has perfect vertical recoil, can be crafted, and has access to enhanced perks. The only downside of this weapon is that some controller players might have a slightly harder time controlling it past like 10 to 15 meters, and the other downside being that it requires you to raid. So if you're a solo player and you're trying to get this weapon, I recommend maybe LFG, but in reality, I just recommend going to Twitch or just finding a live stream of someone doing helps. That's literally going to be probably one of your best ways if you don't want to deal with LFG. Now, getting back to the whole volatile rounds thing, Volatile Flow is leaving at the end of this season. And yes, as many people have pointed out, and I know, all right, I know, I get this comment all the time, well, volatile rounds are staying. It's a fragment, bro. Yes, I know that it's a fragment, but here's the thing, that fragment requires you to get a grenade kill to activate volatile rounds, whereas volatile flow just requires you to pick up a void well, and you can make void wells a million different ways, and you can also pick up your teammates' void wells. So yes, you're gonna have access to volatile rounds, but it's not gonna be nearly as easy to keep it up and active constantly like it is right now. Also, has everyone just forgotten that everyone is using Void because of Void 3.0? We still have Solar and Arc to go through, and if you think people are going to stay on Void just for volatile rounds, I think you're mistaken, especially when they can't just have it up constantly like they can right now with Volatile Flow. I just really think going into next season, we're going to see a big spike in usage from Submission whenever people are switching off Void, or they realize without Volatile Flow, volatile rounds is much more of a nuisance to try and get. But that is Submission. In my opinion, probably the best kinetic primary ad clear weapon you can get your hands on, and I personally think it's going to, like I said, explode going into future seasons in popularity. But let me know your thoughts on Submission down in the comment section. Also, let me know what roles you've managed to get, or are you already crafting it? Let me know, I'm curious. With all that being said, if you enjoyed the video, then feel free to drop a like, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.